The purpose of this video is to compare two credit cards from two major banks in the United States. The first bank that I have opened up is Bank of America, and the second bank is Chase. The reason why I'm comparing these two banks is to see the different terms and conditions that they have specified for their entry-level credit cards, so I call it. So we're going to start with Bank of America, the cash rewards credit card. As you can see here, the bold items that you see are, the first one says $200 online bonus offer after making at least $1,000 in purchases in the first 90 days of opening your account. And the second item here says now earn 3% cash back in the category of your choice. For Chase, you can see for the this Chase Freedom Unlimited credit card, it says here earn 3% cashback on all purchases in your first year up to $20,000 spent. Cashback on every purchase. Earn up to $600 cashback. That's 3% cashback on all purchases in your first year up to $20,000 spent. After that, earn 1.5% cashback on all purchases. And it says 0% APR intro, 0% intro APR for 15 months from account opening on purchases and balance transfers. After that, 17.24% to 25.99% variable APR. The annual fee is 0. If you scroll down here, I think I already mentioned all the benefits. And what you wouldn't see on most of these cards are your terms. You have to look to find the terms and conditions of using the card. So I'm going to go back to Bank of America, which I already have the terms and pricing information. In order to review the terms and conditions for the Bank of America credit card, which is the cash rewards, I have it pulled up here. And as you can see, the annual percentage rate for purchases for the first 12 months, it's 0%. And after the 12 months, you would have a 16.24% to 26.24% based on your credit worthiness when you open your account. Now, as I scroll down, all right, as you can see, you have balance transfers as well, 0% for the first 12 months. And then after that is 16.24 to 26.24%. Same thing as the APR for the purchases. And then you have cash advance, all right, which is 19.24% to 27.24%. And then you have the penalty, and when it applies, you have up to 29.99%. Okay, and it tells you how to avoid paying interest on purchases. This is your due date is at least 25 days after the close of each billing cycle. We will not charge you any interest on purchases if you pay your entire balance by the due date each month. And that is the important part here, because if you're going to have a credit card, you want to make sure that your balances are paid in full before the end of the billing cycle. Ideally, so that you don't forget or make a mistake and you spend too much than you actually can pay back. It's always advisable that you pay all your bills right away. As you make a credit card purchase, go ahead and transfer to recover or to balance up your account. Otherwise, you end up accruing a lot of charges on your credit card, and this will lead to a situation where you won't have enough money to pay off the credit card balance. And what this would do is that you end up having to pay interest. And as you can see, this is for Bank of America. You have 16.24% on the card, on your balance, pretty much. And that would accrue over the course of a year or 2 years, depending on how long you carry the balance for. And that is a lot, because remember, this is I mean, even if you were to open a savings account with Bank of America, you wouldn't get up to 2%. You wouldn't even get up to 1% on your interest. And that is the fact, So when it comes to credit card, the goal is to pay off the bills before your billing cycle is due. But anyway, I'll move on to the next thing. Yes, it's minimum interest charge. It says here the charge will not be less than $1.50. All right, so that's the minimum they will charge you, even if you have a very little amount of money. Let's say you have like $1 on your credit card. By the time the billing cycle is over, you end up still paying $1.50, which is, you're looking at 150% of what you owed. You owed $1, but you're paying $1.50 in return because you owed $1, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'll move on to the next thing here. Then you have the fees. You have the purchase fees, and it says here purchase of a wire transfer from a non-refundable, non-financial institution, and it tells you, all the fees that are associated with a card. Now, what you need to understand is that when it comes to a credit card, the goal is to get you locked in. All right. When I mean locked in, see, it says 0% APR on the first 12 months. It says your 0% introductory APR for the first 12 months, closing cycle following the opening of your account. And then it tells you there, even for balance transfers and for purchase as well. So the goal is that they want you to spend as much as you can with a mindset that you won't be charged any interest for the first 12 months, which is a good marketing strategy. But they would start getting you when you've accrued so much money on this card, say, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and they're charging you 16% every year. Mind you, this is on the low end. So on the high end, they could go as high as 26.24%. That is very, very steep. On the other hand, you also have your balance transfer. You have a cash advance. For every deposit, they will charge you $10 or 3% of the amount of each transaction. So for every cash advance you take from a bank, they're charging you either $10 or 3%. So the point is they'll charge you whichever is greater. All right. So if you are, taking a cash advance of say $10, 3% of that will be 30 cents. So they will charge you $10. However, if you are withdrawing, say $300 or say $100, all right, they would, instead of charging you 3% of that, they'll still charge you $10. All right, because 3% of $100 is $3, which means it is still lower than this $10. So they will charge you $10. And that is where they get you. It's not from the fact that, you're getting all these points, all these bonuses. They lure you with, $200, bonus to get in and 3% cash back and all those things. But this is where you pay the penalty for using the card if you go and make cash advance, do balance transfers and foreign transaction fees and all those things. So those are the things you really want to avoid as much as you can. And as you can see here, late payment, you have up to $39. Return payment, you have up to $28. Those are the key things. This is for Bank of America. It's for the Chase credit card, which is the Chase Freedom credit card, the unlimited credit card. And here you can see it says here we have an APR 0% for the first 15 months that your account is open, and after that you'll be charged 17.24% and up to 25.99% based on your credit worthiness. Balance transfers is 0% as well, just like Bank of America for the first 15 months. On the other hand, for Bank of America it's 12 months. After that you'll be charged 17.24%. The APR on this one for Chase is 27.24%. All right, and then you have, and it tells you how to avoid paying interest on the purchases. It says your due date will be a minimum of 21 days after the close of each billing cycle. Same thing like Bank of America. On the other hand, for Bank of America, it was, I believe it was 25 days. And right there, 25 days. All right, but 21 days for Chase. And then it tells you minimum interest charge, there's none. And down here the fees again. All right, it tells you $5 for each transfer, whichever is greater, or 3%. And it tells for cash advances is $10 or 5% of each transaction, whichever is greater as well. But for Bank of America, I believe it was $10 for both of them and 3% for the two as well. And then you have 3% for foreign transactions. Late payment for the penalties and fees under the Chase card, we have $39, and then you have return payment $39 as well. Again, the key here is to get you locked into a situation where you've accumulated a lot of debt after the first 15 months, and then they start to charge you a steep interest rate. And remember, this is going to accumulate over time. So, in order to compare the two cards side by side, I've pulled up some of the key points of the cards for Bank of America on the left and the Chase Freedom New card on the right. And as you can see, you would notice that the key differences are the highlights in green with a check mark. And for Chase, it has a 0% for first 15 months, whereas Bank of America has 12 months for the first 0% for the first 12 months. And the APR on the two of them are quite similar because Bank of America has a lower APR from the low end of the spectrum, but it goes up to 26.24%. And for Chase, the low end is 17.24% to 25.99%. So, they kind of offset each other in terms of APR. Cash advance is the same as well, a little bit higher for the Chase card because it says 27.24%. Now, is that a flat rate or does it change? That I'm not sure. And there's no penalty APR for Chase, which is good. The billing cycle on Bank of America is a bit longer, 25 days, whereas for the Chase is just 21 days. And Bank of America has a minimum interest charge, which is $1.50. And that I feel is a lot because, like I said in the previous example I gave, if you made a $1 purchase on the card and say you forgot to make a transfer within 25 days of the billing cycle, does that mean they will charge you $1.50 as interest? Well, that's what it means according to this, even though you only owe $1. And then you have the fees, 0%, $0 for the two of them, no annual fees for the two. Wire transfer fee for Bank of America, and there's a cash advance fee between for Chase, And then you have the balance transfer for the two of them. Chase is a bit lower if you look at the numbers. Penalty is a bit higher for Chase, and for the penalty on Bank of America, the return payment is lower, which is $28. Now, on the bonuses, which is generally why people want to get credit cards, for these two cards, their bonuses are quite similar because if you look at Chase, even though you get a higher amount, say 3% of $20,000 back in the first year if you spend up to $20,000, that's that's a lot of money compared to 3% of $2,500 from Chase. So 3% of $20,000 is going to be $600 in the first year. Mind you, you must spend $20,000 to get this back. So is that a lot of money? Not much. Also, you have to remember that this is money that you have to pay back, because if for any reason you do not refund, or you do not make all your payments in full after the first year, it's 0% APR, right? But then after the first 15 months, they'll start charging you, on the low end about 17.24%. And 17.24% of $20,000, assuming you spent up to that amount, is $3,448. So you're trying to gain $600, if you spend up to $20,000. On the other hand, if you fail to make the refund, they would start charging you about $3,448 in interest. That's a lot. So the key thing is to make sure that your payments are made in full. Looking at the two cards, they are almost the same, but at the end of the day, the way you use them is what will determine how it impacts your life. Because again, if you're keeping a lot of balances on these cards, they will quickly add up in debt.